Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our show. This is your host, Keith Doherty. Today our special guest is top real estate agent Tina Dubois of Century 21 Nachman Realty based out of Norfolk, Virginia. Tina became a realtor after a 25-year career in accounting, finance, and business management. She brings to her work a strong business background needed by buyers, sellers, and investors to negotiate effectively in the ever-changing real estate market of today. She is the president of Friends in Real Estate, the FIRE team, which is committed to providing the best customer service, resources, skills, knowledge, and the special attention needed in this profession. Over 12 years ago, she created a new business entity called Dubois Enterprises, LLC, with a mission of rehabilitating older homes in the Hampton Roads area and assist buyers to achieve their dream of home ownership. Tina is affiliated with the VAR, which is the Virginia Association of Realtors, the HRR, which is the Hampton Roads Association of Realtors, the NAR, which is the National Association of Realtors, and the REIN, which is the Real Estate Information Network. Her achievements include being an award recipient of Circle of Excellence, Bronze, Gold, and Platinum, top sales agent in all of the 9 Century 21 Nachman Realty offices 2009-2010, top 25 Century 21 agents in the Mid-Atlantic region 2013 to 2015, and the cover story agent for Top Agent Magazine March 2014 edition, just to name a few. All right, with all that said, Tina, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, Keith, so much for having me.
Tina, if we could start, what led you into real estate? Was it something that you always knew that you wanted to do, or did you maybe stumble into it?
I never thought I was going to get into real estate. I had over a 25-year career in accounting and business. My last position was a CFO with a local company, and I just hated to go to work every day. Ball and chain to a desk, it was just killing me. And 40 years came my birthday, and I said, I've helped hundreds of my clients over the years start up businesses and grow their businesses. It was time for me to do that. Now, real estate was not something I thought about, but I had one of my sales reps. She was taking the real estate exam and got me thinking about it. And when I looked at my background and I did accounting with builders in the area, construction accounting, et cetera, my last position as a CFO was a marketing company. I said, wow, there's my background. I've done it all before. Now it's time to do it for myself. And I've never looked back, although I was terrified when I first started.
Yeah, it sounds like you said you kind of, without realizing it, you laid the perfect foundation with your connections and your experience from an accounting and relationship as well as the marketing side. It sounds like it set you right up to be like, hey, this just makes sense right now.
It did, and I think going in with a professional attitude, I was in, a CFO in a decent company in this area. I had some great contacts, but I think that gave me the edge. I came into it with a different mindset than many other agents, that this was a career change and that I was a professional.
Absolutely, and I think that makes a huge difference because it seems like you said, the barrier to entry is pretty straightforward in most states. You do a little bit of education, you pass a test, and now you can go sell real estate. And I think it's key to point out to our listeners what you said there is you looked at it like a business, like a change in career, not, I'm just going to try this little, hobby on the side, but you're going to actually treat it like a business like it is, and that's, obviously, I would imagine contributed to the success that you've had.
Yes, I've been very fortunate, and I think that mindset made a big difference because I've been a top agent since the day I came into the business. So very fortunate.
So, Tina, can you talk a little bit about maybe some of your personal attributes or traits or qualities that you think have most contributed to the success that you have, and then talk a little bit about how you think you developed those?
Well, I guess I'll touch on what we had just talked about. Really, the professionalism and my business and accounting background really gave me some real strong foundation. I understood numbers when I got into the business. The business itself was really diving because of the economy, et cetera. So I was able to really jump in head first. Wasn't afraid of numbers, being a CPA for years. So became a short sale queen, if you will. Did well over 150 short sales in the last 6 years, and understood what the lenders wanted, what the seller needed and wanted, and what our potential buyers. I'd say negotiation skills in this business are very important and a key to being successful in any business realm, but more so in this business. We're kind of a jack of all trades, and some are better in one area than another, but it's still a business, if you will. And I think that those attributes that I had, bringing them into the business, really just skyrocketed me to being a top agent.
Excellent. And do you think you can maybe give us another example of when your traits have played a role in your path towards success?
Well, I'd also say I've worked a lot with investors. I understand the business side because I had been an investor myself in real estate long before I even thought about becoming a realtor. And people skills, that also is just as important as knowing business and knowing our market is people skills, being able to, we deal with all different kinds of people, from vendors to our buyers, our sellers, and understanding people skills. And I've done courses, you continue to do continuing education through this, being able to read the body language. And of course, these days we have more texting, et cetera. But I think all that's really important to understand who you're dealing with and what's their best way of communication, et cetera.
Excellent. And I think when any business, obviously you've had experience in real estate as well as outside of real estate. Could you talk a little bit about some of the major adversities or trials that you had to overcome in order to achieve your goals?
Well, I think the biggest thing is you've got to have a business plan or a marketing plan. And I think that's been a key to my success because of my business background. You've got to have a plan in place in order to move forward. And I do spend a lot of time in, October, November, December researching and looking at our market, looking at strategies for my next 12 months. Being organized and kind of, starting at the big end. Okay, this is what I want to do this year. This is how I want to market myself. This is what I want to do for my clients. This is how I want to market my properties. And then taking each one of those and drilling down what the steps, what are the procedures. And I'd say the hardest thing is sticking to that plan. You never stick to it per letter, but that really is your guide through your year.
Absolutely. I think what you pointed out there is key, that, having a plan in general. I think some people, like we kind of mentioned earlier, that, the barrier to entry is pretty straightforward with real estate, and some people don't treat it like an actual business. But, like you said, to put a plan together and have something to follow versus just like, I just, kind of run around and just, like a chicken with their head cut off, not knowing which direction they're going and then wondering why, they're not having any success in anything.
Well, that's true. And in this business, we're kind of a jack of all trades. We juggle a lot between clients and vendors and what's going on with each deal. And we have several deals going that sometimes you do get off track because you are juggling so much. So sometimes you got to kind of refocus yourself and get yourself back on track. And that's where I truly believe that a business plan is what keeps us moving in that right direction.
Excellent. And I guess kind of on top of that, what kept you going? Obviously, you run into obstacles. You've had some things that you've overcome. Why don't you give up? What's your driving force?
Well, I love what I do. I guess that's a big difference. When I was ball and chained to a desk, I hated to go to work every day. I love working with the people. I get to choose who I work with. I don't give up. When the going gets tough, let's keep going. Let's figure out a way around it. That's probably part of what keeps me interested in the business, because it is ever-changing. I get bored, so I love the changes. Where some people look at change as being a negative thing, turn it into a positive. Change can be a good thing.
Absolutely, yeah. So I guess kind of looking forward a little bit, what is your vision for your career and your business over the next 5 years?
Really where I'm looking at in my life is I work about 80% of my business is referrals from past clients. And so I do a lot of extra things for my clients. I do a client appreciation party every year, and it's really grown. Giving back to the clients. I never have a problem when a client calls with a question or a problem. Or a great example yesterday, I have a client who relocated to Arizona, and I'm here in Virginia, and they hired a realtor to sell their property and just didn't feel like they were getting what they wanted. And I kind of reaffirmed that he only been on the market 2 weeks, those kinds of things. it's having relationships. They're not clients to me; they become friends. And that's really where I see myself in staying kind of where I'm at. I'm not looking at or aspiring to be the top agent, and it's not about the money. It's about liking what you do. And my client base, they're really, I'd say, the majority of them, we've become good friends over the years.
Excellent. I guess kind of on top of that, what do you feel is the best way that you market yourself as a real estate professional so you can have continual growth?
Well, like I'd mentioned I really do a good portion of my business is by referrals. So doing like a client appreciation parties, giving back. I'll do drop-bys every once in a while, just bring them a little token of something, but just to kind of catch up on them. How are things going? And I would say about 75% of the time, hey, by the way, Tina, I was thinking about that. I got a friend of mine who's looking to sell their home or looking to buy. So I would say that's a good way I market myself, but I also stay up on, do a lot of research, so the latest trends. We've got to take a look at technology and moving forward, and I'd say a good portion of my client base is younger because I work a lot with military. We're very military strong here. So you kind of got to reinvent yourself. I do texting. I use social media, the internet, website that's informative, not the rah-rah, Tina's the best. It's, they want to go to my website. They want to get information. And that's really what they look to me for, is that I'm a professional in this industry, not, oh, gee, I'm number one. I got all these awards. Well, that's good. Good kudos for you, but what are you going to do for me? And that's what we do, is provide a service.
Absolutely. I think what you pointed out there is key, that, people at the end of the day that, and I always say this, my wife will look at things and we'll look at stuff and somebody's all like, I've done this and that. And then we're like, well, who cares, right? At the end of the day, like what you said is the ideal thing of the consumer is, what are you going to do for me? How are you going to help me? It's great you've done all that, but let's see how that translates to our relationship and how I can benefit from, working with you.
Exactly. I mean, of course they want to see that you've got the experience level, but what are you going to do for me? And that's really the bottom line. When some clients, when you're done with the transaction, you'll never hear from them again. That's fine. That's what they want. They're the ones in the driver's seat. What my goal is to teach them or to educate them so they can make the good business decision that they need to make for their lives.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes in the marketplace, sometimes there's misconceptions that people have about working with real estate agents. So what do you think the biggest misconception or myth that people have about working with a real estate agent is?
Well, it's so funny that you asked that question, because usually what we hear is the bad experience people have had with real estate agents. Not if the agent has done a good job, it's nothing's talked about. I would say probably the biggest misconception with all the technology we have today, a good example, like a seller. He can now go online and he can do an assessment of comps in his neighborhood before he puts his house on the market and thinks that, hey, this is what I can sell my house for. Well, but the ability to be able to analyze the details and what's going on in that marketplace really comes with the experience of doing this for a living. Another experience, a buyer. They can go online now and they've got 800 websites they can go to, and they think, oh, geez, I found the house. Well, finding the house is the easy part. It's going through the process between the new bank processes, inspections, appraisals. There's always obstacles. The best thing is to have that realtor in place so that every time an obstacle comes up, you've been there, done that. Hey, here's your options. This is what we can do. And help negotiate them the best in every situation, the best option that would work for them.
Absolutely. I think that's some great advice. Now, let's say you get a call from a family member, and they're in another state, and they want to sell their home. What advice would you give them about selecting an agent that could best serve their needs? Kind of how you take care of your people. What would you tell them to look for in picking an agent?
Well, a great example is, like I said, this lady from Arizona yesterday. She's all ready to fire her agent, and the property's only been on the market for a few weeks. I would tell them that I would certainly help them, assist them in interviewing agents in their area, because of course I don't know that area. I'd be asking key questions about what are their marketing strategies, what is the, how many websites, what's your exposure level, what are their negotiation skills, what's their follow-through. And I'd say that's one of the biggest issues I hear from clients who have worked with another realtor and I work with them after, is the communication and the follow-up. Hey, I'm going to take care of this, but they never get to it. Or they leave the phone call and don't hear back from their realtor for 6 or 7 hours. They really expect that the realtor is right there. So I would say that that's the way I could certainly help them in making sure that they get the references and that they get an agent who's experienced in their area and that's willing to work and do what they need to have done, whether it is to buy or to sell a home. Are they going to meet their needs?
Absolutely. And I think one thing you pointed out there, I think it's crucial for probably any form of business, but especially with real estate, is expectations. You talked about, especially with the day and age. I mean, we have cell phones and we have texting and we have Facebook and Snapchat and Twitter, and I mean, it just goes on and on. So to set that expectation of, okay, or your house is under contract with us, how do you want me to communicate with you? Well, you know what? I really like text. I don't like to really talk on the phone, or I like emails, or I like Facebook messages. And like you said, to set that expectation, okay, well, here's how we're going to do it. You're going to hear from me once a day, once every other day. But to set that from the beginning, to set that expectation as well as the communication method, so then at least the person's going to know, okay, I'm going to hear from I'm going to hear from Tina tomorrow, or she's going to send me a text. So I think setting that expectation up front so that everybody's on the same page, so they're not wondering, I wonder if they're selling my house. I mean, I listed the contract. I haven't heard from them in weeks. So
exactly. Did I have any showings? What's going on? What was the feedback? And that was one of the discussions I had with this lady yesterday. Was there were 6 showings. She hadn't gotten feedback from one of them. Well, and that's exactly what you just said. I said to her, have you set your expectations with your realtor? And she loved it, actually, to be honest with you, by the end of the conversation, that I wasn't bashing her realtor. I was just educating her what a realtor needed to do, and that maybe she was not communicating to the realtor what her expectations were.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Tina, if somebody's in the Norfolk, Virginia area and they need real estate services, what's the best way they can find out more information about you and how you can help them?
Well, I'm always available by phone or by text. It really depends on the person. My phone number is area code 757-403-9030. I also have a website, and once I have an inquiry, it comes directly to my phone, so I respond quickly, and that is my name, TinaDubois.com. Or I also have an email address, which is my last name, and that's Dubois, D-U-B-O-I-S, the word FIRE. My company is Friends in Real Estate, so FIRE is the acronym, DuboisFire@gmail.com. Whichever way they feel most comfortable contacting me, I'll respond within a few hours.
Excellent. Well, Tina, I just want to thank you personally for taking time out of your schedule to come here today and share all of your real estate professional experience with our listeners. And if you need real estate assistance, especially in the 7+ cities in the Norfolk, Virginia area, or the Hampton Roads area, you can reach out to and get a hold of Tina. Below this interview, we're actually going to have links to her website as well as her phone number, which you can call or text, and her email address. So if you're definitely looking for any type of real estate assistance in the Hampton Roads, Virginia area, reach out and see if Tina is a good fit for you. So with that said, everybody, until our next show, have a great day, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.